like kind of go back to Aidan Hutchinson in that draft class that he came out of. And Lucas, did you pull the graphic that? Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is. Oh my.
You do your job, Jeff.
And you'll listen. You'll do yours. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Isn't this crazy? Look at this. Travon Walker and Aidan Hutchinson, and they compared the alignments inside the offensive tackles versus outside the offensive tackles. Doesn't matter. Aidan blows him out in either stat. Like literally destroys him. Look at this. First one, inside the offensive tackles, Travon Walker, 2 pass rush snaps inside the offense, on the inside, in the pressure rate 0.0. He's got a donut. And then you go to Aidan Hutchinson, inside the offensive tackles, 15 pass rush snaps, 21.4% win rate, pressure rate. He's 10th. So think about it. When he plays inside, he's 10th in the league, okay? Well, why don't we move him outside then? Oh, yeah, I'll be 10th in the league again. That's how that works with Aidan Hutchinson. Outside the offensive tackles, look at the snaps, man. Like 57, over double for Travon Walker, and he's still 65th in the league for pressure rate. The number 1 overall pick, Trent Baalke, big measurables guy. Size, speed, athleticism.
Can play inside and outside.
Can play inside and outside.
Can play off the ball. He can even cover running backs.
Like, and this seemed to be an easy decision. Like when we talked about the draft, me and Adam and I talked about Aidan, and we both agreed. Like it's an easy decision. I know you felt that way too, Sam. Everybody thought he was going to go 1. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a given. I mean, everyone was planning for Travon or Kayvon Thibodeau, or there's other players in consideration, a Sauce Gardner, and then you just see Trent Baalke be a bonehead and pass on the best player, and we all knew it, in that draft. And this stats, even for a guy too, that when he came out, it was what's his arsenal of pass rush moves? Is he a one-trick pony? The arm size and all that BS, and people making an argument for Kayvon Thibodeau. And to be honest, I was one of those people that said if Aidan was gone, I guess you go Kayvon there. Sure. You needed an edge rusher. But no, Aidan, the best player in the draft class, fell right into your lap. And Brad Holmes, being the great general manager, I would say as of right now, he is. Some of these decisions, Sam, aren't hard. You don't have to overthink them. Like, I think and sometimes I have that problem too. I overthink decisions and you end up making the wrong decision when really it was never a hard decision. Aidan Hutchinson was always the pick at number 1. Thank the Lord for Trent Baalke for fucking that up.
Hutchinson should not have been the number 1 overall pick. His arms, they weren't long enough to get off blocks. He wouldn't be able to shed blocks at the NFL level because his arms were too short. He didn't have the wingspan of Travon Walker and Kayvon Thibodeau. So that's why. Not because Travon Walker was some specimens, because Aidan Hutchinson's arms were too short.
Continue, Sam.
No, I mean, and we all know that Aidan Hutchinson, he was just kind of a hard worker. He didn't really have that ceiling. We all knew that he would be a solid player at least.
But that's bullshit too.
It was bullshit.
I hate that. Yeah. I hate that. Because you're so right, Sam. The biggest thing about Aidan was his ceiling. What? He has higher. You think? What does the ceiling look like now? That's my question.
Well, it looks like Aidan Hutchinson with 11.5 sacks and Travon Walker with 4.5. And you look at this. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't want to dig too much dirt on the Travon Walker grave right now because it's still early in his career. It could still improve. But I'm looking at that inside the tackles, and I see a 0% pressure rate. That is, I would say,
0.0.
Sam, you and Travon have the same impact lining up inside the offensive tackles. You and him have the same pressure rate.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
I mean, I should congratulate myself. And I mean, that's just by the numbers. Yes, I am.
And I'm not saying he's a bust, but that's disappointing.
Well, and even you look at the outside pressure rate, and I get it. Travon Walker had more pass rush snaps in that formation, but what was the thing about Travon Walker coming out? That speed. He just has all that pass rush arsenal. He's got that ceiling. He's faster than Aidan Hutchinson. He's a guy that you can go off the edge and he'll just wreck quarterbacks, especially on the blind side. And I haven't seen it from Travon Walker. I have seen it from Aidan Hutchinson. And I'll tell you what, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I know that they're one of the teams coming into the year. They finished off the season great last year. They made the playoffs. They look like they were up and coming. a decision like picking Travon Walker over Aidan Hutchinson could set this franchise back.
Yeah.
Because what do a lot of the best teams in the NFL have in common? They have a dominant edge rusher or a dominant rusher of the quarterback in general.
Yes.
You look at the Chiefs with Chris Jones. You look at the Eagles with multiple guys. Hassan
Every
Reddick
great defense does.
Absolutely. And you look at the 49ers with Nick Bosa. You even look at the Cincinnati Bengals last year with Trey Hendrickson. He's not as good as the other guys, but still.
He was going off on Sunday night.
Absolutely.
Or was it Monday night?
It was Monday night. And that's the thing. They all have that guy. And I know that, I guess the Jacksonville Jaguars technically have Josh Allen. And it looks like they could still be a team that could win that division this year. But just imagine if the Jacksonville Jaguars would have made the right decision, which would have hurt the Lions, by the way, and drafted Aidan Hutchinson. You would have an edge rushing duo bookend of Josh Allen and Aidan Hutchinson. I firmly believe, and I said this before, and I know this sounds like a little bit of hyperbole, the Jacksonville Jaguars would have had a shot in that playoff game at Arrowhead if they would have had Aidan Hutchinson instead of Travon Walker, because they were in that game. That defense allowed a 99-yard drive to Chad Henne and Isaiah Pacheco.
100%.
That defense basically not hampered or injured Patrick Mahomes early on in the game, and Patrick Mahomes was essentially playing on one leg. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, even when you're up and coming, even when it looks like you're a team on the rise, even when you make some good decisions drafting like Tyson Jackson and Travis Etienne and Trevor Lawrence, you're still going to Jaguar. And they did that, and they made a colossal mistake. And thank you so much. Thank you to the Jacksonville Jaguars for gifting the Detroit Lions Aidan Hutchinson, a future All-Pro. And I'll tell you what, that 15-sack season is still on the table. Travon Walker's not even going to get 5.
I would love to see those numbers compared to James Houston, too.
Oh, it's
I bet they would have been close.
Well, here's the interesting thing about this whole discussion is Travon Walker, and you talked about if Aidan was with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know what Aidan would have if he was in Jacksonville?
What would he have?
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
On the other side of him. And I'm gonna bring that up once again, guys, because I got crapped on for using that and comparing it with Neil Rule. Booner was on my side. I'll give him that. But people don't understand the impact of having that dude across from you. Like Aidan, when he had Houston last year, he got better. I'm not saying it's not on Aidan as well, but it helps to have another guy that can, attract a double team. It happens like that. And Travon has Josh Allen. Kayvon Thibodeau has Dexter Lawrence. Like, that's real. And even for these rates, too, like in Booner, love you, Boone. He said, thank you, Jeff. And by the way, for Booner's point earlier, I want to bring this up. He says, I would like to say that the Travon Walker versus Hutch comparison should officially be dead going forward. And Kayvon, disrespectful to Hutch to be compared to the other guys in that draft. Yeah, I mean, for real. Jake says, shows why Leftwich didn't want to coach with Balke there. That's fair, too. Hoop-hearted. Trent Balke pulling a Brandon Katz on trade day and taking Walker over Hutch. Yeah, that you're not wrong. Mike Bell, we didn't know that Travon couldn't perform in a different defense. Yeah, I mean, part of that, yes, is how the defensive coordinator utilizes him. But Mike Bell, you would agree with that point, though. Like, having Josh Allen does help him, and Aidan Hutchinson had Houston, it helped him. But even Aidan right now, no Houston. What did he do last game? Wrecked the football game.
He did.
Others stepped up, but Aidan is that dude. Like, imagine Aidan with a Dexter Lawrence. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, it's crazy. Like, Aidan is by far the best player. We knew that then. We know that now.
Yes, and if you want me to just go a little bit further on in terms of the, I would say, Travon Walker, and I'll even go with Kayvon Thibodeau on this one. Slander, but it's not slander because they've earned it at this point.
I hate Kayvon Thibodeau.
You know what? And so you're going to like this a lot. So right now amongst edge rushers, I know that we can take PFF with a grain of salt if you want. Aidan Hutchinson is currently the 15th ranked edge rusher according to PFF, which I'd like him to get that a little bit higher, but I think he will. And he still has a very, very good PFF grade, and I think he'll be consistent. You have to go way down the list to see where Travon Walker is at. I'm looking at it right now. Travon Walker is currently the 90th ranked edge rusher according to PFF with a grade of 54.8, just behind superstars like Dylan Horton, Zach Harrison, Kingsley Enagbare, Yetzer Gross-Matos, Zaven Collins, Malik Herring, Tyquan Lucas.
Yeah, it's bad.
Superstars right
it's
there.
Bad.
Arden Key, Nick Bonito, guys like that.
Nick Bonito.
And if you want to go even farther down the list, and this is what had me basically like cackling, key, laughing. Kayvon Thibodeau this season, are you ready for this? Are you guys sitting down? Is currently the 110th ranked edge rusher according to PFF out of a possible 112. And you know who's just right behind him? Another guy that some Lions fans wanted to take, Tyree Wilson. Kayvon Thibodeau.
Tyree Wilson is so bad.
He is so bad, but Kayvon Thibodeau is in that same company this year as a second-year player, coming off of a season last year in which he was actually pretty good. And Kayvon Thibodeau, his PFF grade is 36.6, which is absolutely morbid. It's less than half of what Aidan Hutchinson's is, just behind guys like Jihad Ward, Michael Hecht, Rasheem Green, Yaya Diaby, Jerry Hughes, Darrell Taylor, and Dominique Robinson of the Chicago Bears, their 2021 fifth-round draft pick. So, and I take a lot of pleasure in doing this because I was a big-time Aidan Hutchinson guy coming into the 2022 draft. I am so glad that the Lions have him and they don't have Kayvon Thibodeau and Travon Walker, who seem to have both regressed this year, while Aidan Hutchinson is only getting better and he's coming off his best game of the season. Bravo, Brad Holmes. Bravo, Detroit Lions. And bravo to you, Aidan Hutchinson. And suck it, Kayvon Thibodeau and Travon Walker.
Yeah.
Suck it.
Doesn't mean, again, and this is 2 years through the career, Aidan's the best player out of the bunch. Now, they have long careers. We'll see how it develops. I know for a fact, though, with your point about Kayvon, one thing that always kind of made me hesitant and why I wouldn't mind a Sauce Gardner, because you look at it now, he's that dude, is Kayvon, it was always like, does he have more passion for things outside of football? Does he love the game, or does he love what the game brings him? You know what I mean?
And as stupid as that sounds, like, oh, the guy he's a talented athlete. Like, that sounds nice, whatever. But when you start getting millions of dollars and you are in New York of all places, and you have distractions left and right, that's when you got to worry about, okay, is this player now going to start looking at more business opportunities off the field instead of his business opportunity on the field? Well, and that's what Aidan Hutchinson never have to worry about once. Never once.
It's a similar mold there. Like Aidan, Jack Campbell, guys that just live and breathe ball. Dogs. Football, baby. And for this stat, too, I thought this was interesting. The Lions Fan Report tweeted this out. And if you think about it, crazy to think about, Aidan Hutchinson has 9 more pressures than Travon Walker and Kayvon Thibodeau combined. 9 more.
That's unbelievable.
Aidan's tied with TJ Watt in pressures. And I know pressures, if you prefer sacks, but pressures, I mean, Aaron Glenn mentioned it, still affects quarterbacks. Walker has 6, Thibodeau has 4, Hutch has 19. Look at sacks. Each of those guys, Kayvon, Travon, 1 sack, Aidan 2. He has as much sacks as both of them combined and 9 more pressures. 9 more pressures than both of them combined with less defensive line help around him.